Have you ever woken up in the morning, dreading that first painful step out of bed, wondering if aging was supposed to hurt this much? Or spent your day silently fighting an ache in your back, your knees, or your heart, secretly asking yourself, is this really how I have to spend the rest of my life? We've all heard it. Pain is inevitable after 60. Doctors say it, friends repeat it, and maybe you've started believing it too. But what if everything you've been told about aging is completely wrong? What if there is an entire village of Zen monks deep in the Himalayas, quietly proving the opposite, living beyond 90 years old, free from painkillers, surgery, or even supplements? Today, I want to share their secret with you, because the truth is, these monks aren't special because of genetics or luck. They discovered something so simple, yet so powerful, that modern medicine rarely talks about it. And no, it's not about escaping life to sit on a mountaintop. It's about unlocking a hidden mechanism within your mind and body, a natural power to heal that we all have, but few of us remember how to use. So if you're tired of just enduring your days, if you're tired of pills that mask the pain without solving it, if you're ready to find out how to age gracefully, peacefully, and pain-free, then take a deep breath and stay with me. Because the next few minutes might not only change how you age, they could change your life. Secret 1: Radical acceptance of pain. What if pain is not the enemy, but the messenger you've been ignoring your whole life? Most people spend their later years fighting their bodies. Every stiff joint becomes a war zone. Every new ache a battle to be won. The narrative is always the same. Fight the pain, suppress it, medicate it, numb it. And yet somehow it always finds its way back. Louder, sharper, more persistent. But Zen monks teach something radically different. Don't fight the pain. Bow to it, welcome to it. Because sometimes what hurts is what's trying to speak. Why does ignoring pain often make it worse? The more we try to push pain away, the tighter it grips. The more we resent our body, the more it seems to rebel. It's not a coincidence, it's a connection. In Zen philosophy, there's a saying, pain is real, suffering is optional. What it means is simple yet profound. The ache in your body may be real, but the agony comes from your reaction to it. The fear, the rejection, the frustration. When we resist pain, we add tension. When we accept it, we begin to soften. What happens when you stop trying to fix your body and start listening to it? I once met a 91-year-old Zen master in Kyoto who had fractured his hip the year before. He walked slowly through the garden each morning, upright, barefoot, and full of grace. I asked if he still felt pain. He nodded, smiling softly. Yes, he said, but I no longer add pain to the pain. That sentence stayed with me. Most of us, unconsciously, add layers of suffering to what's already there. We feel the discomfort, then panic, judge ourselves, and catastrophize. But Zen monks remove the story, and in doing so, remove the suffering. Could your pain be asking for your presence, not your solutions? Imagine your body's pain as a child tugging at your sleeve. Ignore it, and it screams. Get angry at it, and it screams louder. But what happens when you kneel and listen? It calms. Your body works the same way. It's not seeking punishment, it's seeking acknowledgement. The monks believe that pain is never random. It carries memory, emotional residue, karmic weight. It's not there to ruin your day. It's there to awaken your attention. Even science is starting to agree with what monks have known for centuries. A University of Wisconsin study showed that patients who practiced 30 minutes of daily mindfulness and acceptance experienced lower pain intensity than those on traditional pain medications. Because pain is not just a physical event, it's a mental and emotional one. And healing doesn't come from numbing what you feel, it comes from becoming deeply intimate with it. What if your body doesn't need to be cured, only to be loved? In many modern societies, we treat the body like a broken machine. We try to fix it part by part, forgetting that it is a whole living organism, responsive, intelligent, even spiritual. Zen monks treat their bodies like sacred partners. When they feel discomfort, they don't suppress it. They breathe into it. They ask, "What are you trying to teach me?" Sometimes the answer is rest, sometimes forgiveness, sometimes simply patience. Have you ever tried sitting with your pain instead of running from it? Here's a practice from one of the monks I studied with. Sit quietly. Place your hand gently on the part of your body that hurts. Close your eyes. Don't try to analyze, just say, in your heart, "I see you, I hear you, I'm here with you." No pressure, no fixing, just presence. The result won't always be immediate relief, but you will feel a shift, not in the pain, but in the way you relate to it. And that, according to Zen, is the beginning of all healing. What you soften into eventually softens. When we tense against pain, we trap it. But when we breathe into it, we release it. You don't have to like the pain, but you can stop waging war on it. Your body isn't your enemy, it's your companion. And pain is just its way of calling your name. Could it be that your greatest healing doesn't come from the outside, but from changing how you relate to the inside? You spent years searching for what will fix you. But what if what truly heals you is your willingness to stop running from your body, from your past, from your pain, and simply say, "I'm ready to listen now"? That's the first step on the monk's path. But monks don't just listen to pain, they move with it. And that's what we'll explore next. How do Zen monks stay flexible, upright, and graceful even into their 90s, without gyms, supplements, or stretching routines? The answer might surprise you. Let's keep going. Secret 2. Mindful movement. How Zen monks stay supple beyond 90. What if stiffness isn't a sign of aging, but a sign that we've stopped listening to movement? We often assume that pain, tightness, and reduced mobility are natural consequences of growing older. But if that were entirely true, why do some people in their 90s still move like flowing water, while others in their 60s already feel trapped in their bodies? The difference may not lie in youth or luck, but in how we move, or if we move at all. Could it be that we've made movement too complicated when healing lives in simplicity? Modern fitness often looks like punishment: gym memberships, intense stretching routines, wearable tech, loud music, and chasing metrics. But Zen monks live in quiet rhythm with their bodies. No treadmills, no yoga apps, just presence, just walking, just breathing with each step. For them, movement is not exercise, it's an act of reverence, it's a moving meditation. And this shift in mindset, this returning of movement to its sacred root, may explain why their bodies continue to serve them long after others break down. What if your body aches not from age, but from neglect? Pain is not always a sign that something is broken. Sometimes it's a sign that something has been forgotten. When muscles go unused, they harden. When joints don't move, they rust. And when we spend years sitting, scrolling, and shrinking into ourselves, we forget that our bodies were designed to flow. Zen monks don't run marathons. They don't train, but they move gently, daily. They walk mindfully after each meal. They sweep courtyards. They bow, rise, stretch, and sit with intention. These small acts repeated with awareness become a quiet dance with vitality. What if movement is not about performance, but relationship? In the world we live in, movement has become a competition. Who lifts more? Who lasts longer? Who burns the most calories? But the monks show us something different. Movement as intimacy, movement as listening. When a monk walks barefoot on the stone or gravel, he's not trying to get his steps in. He's honoring the ground. He's feeling the wind. He's aligning body, breath, and earth. And that kind of movement doesn't drain your body. It restores it. Have you ever truly felt your body move from the inside? I once witnessed an 87-year-old Zen nun during morning temple duties. She moved with such elegance. No rush, no hesitation, just grace. Watching her bend to pour tea or fold a blanket felt like poetry. And yet she had severe arthritis. When I asked how she coped with the pain, she replied, "I don't move against it, I move with it." That phrase struck something deep in me. Most of us brace against our pain. She flowed with hers. And that shift in how she relates to her body made all the difference. Are you confusing stillness with rest when it might be slow decay? There's a dangerous myth that says, if it hurts, don't move. But too much stillness can invite stagnation. In Chinese and Japanese medicine, stagnation is often seen as the root of pain. Movement, gentle, conscious, slow, is what unblocks the energy. It doesn't have to be dramatic. 5 minutes of walking barefoot on grass, rolling your shoulders in slow circles, standing up during TV commercials and swaying gently. The body doesn't need intensity, it needs consistency. Science now echoes this ancient truth. Gentle movement heals. Studies from Harvard and the NIH confirm that light, regular movement increases circulation, reduces inflammation, improves balance, and even boosts cognitive function in elders. And more importantly, it strengthens your connection to your body. The less afraid you are to move, the more your nervous system relaxes. And in that safety, pain begins to loosen its grip. What if you treated movement like medicine and took a little each day? Think of it like sipping warm tea. You don't gulp it all at once. You take it slowly, letting the warmth touch every part of you. What if every stretch, every breath, every conscious step was like that? A little offering to your vitality? Even monks have mornings when their knees creak, but they move anyway. They don't wait to feel perfect. They move through imperfection. They rise with the sunrise and greet the morning with stillness in their mind and flow in their body. They don't push through pain. They listen to it. They adjust. They adapt. And over time, the body begins to respond, not with resentment, but with gratitude. So ask yourself this: what if I moved today, not to fix my body, but to honor it? No pressure, no targets, just one movement done slowly, with breath, with love. You might be surprised by how much opens up inside you. Aging does not have to be a slow process. It can be a quiet unfolding, one mindful movement at a time. And if movement is medicine, then purpose is fuel. Let's go deeper, because the next secret is not about what you do. It's about why you keep waking up. Let's keep going. Secret 3, releasing emotional weight, the hidden pain you carry. What if the ache in your body isn't just physical? You feel it in your shoulders, your back, your chest, a tension that never quite leaves. Doctors call it age, or arthritis, or inflammation. But deep down, something in you whispers, this pain is not just from the muscles or the joints. It's from years of holding it all in, from swallowing the tears, silencing the screams, pretending to be okay when you weren't. How many emotions have you buried just to get through the day? Grief you never gave a name. Anger you were taught to hide. Disappointment you pushed aside because someone needed you to be strong. And now, decades later, your body is whispering back what your heart was never allowed to say. You may not remember every wound, but your body does. It remembers what your mind has forgotten. Because the body doesn't lie, it keeps the score. Could your body be breaking down not from age, but from an unspoken truth? Zen monks say, emotion is energy in motion. What doesn't move gets stuck. And what gets stuck begins to harden. In your gut, in your throat, in your chest. Over time, this stuckness begins to rot quietly from the inside, showing up as digestive issues, chronic fatigue, high blood pressure, insomnia, even autoimmunity. But we rarely connect the dots. We treat the symptom, not the silence beneath it. What if your chest tightness isn't anxiety, but unshed tears? I once guided an older woman through her first silent retreat. She was in her 60s, dignified, composed, and kind. On the second day during a walking meditation, she stopped and began to cry. Not loudly, but with deep trembling. When I gently asked what was surfacing, she whispered, "I never grieved my mother. I was too busy taking care of everyone else." That was 30 years of sorrow, finally being released through her feet, her breath, her body. How many times have you smiled when you were breaking inside? We are taught from a young age that showing emotion is a weakness, especially pain, especially grief. We are told to move on, stay strong, and be grateful. So we lock it all away until the body becomes the vault that holds it. But vaults were not meant to carry feeling. They are meant to keep it away. And what we keep away eventually takes a toll. Have you ever noticed how pain intensifies after emotional triggers? You feel fine until you hear that voice, see that place, and remember that day. Suddenly your back flares up, your heart races, your stomach twists. That's not a coincidence. That's the connection. The nervous system remembers even what your conscious mind has tried to forget. Trauma, loss, shame, if not expressed, it leaks. And it leaks into the joints, the muscles, the very rhythm of your breath. Science confirms what Zen has whispered for centuries. What you suppress, your body stores. Epigenetic research now shows that unresolved emotional trauma can switch genes on and off. Not just in you, but in your children and grandchildren. Psychologists have found direct links between emotional repression and chronic illness, heart disease, and autoimmunity. Not because emotions are dangerous, but because they're sacred. And when we deny what is sacred, we suffer. What if the real medicine is permission to finally feel? You don't need to scream into a pillow every night, but you do need to give your emotions a seat at the table. Strength is not about holding it together. It's about creating space where things are allowed to fall apart. Gently, honestly, quietly. Like leaves falling in autumn, like tears that water the soul. Have you ever allowed yourself to grieve the person you used to be? Getting older often means losing versions of ourselves, energy, roles, relationships. But instead of mourning that loss, we stuff it away. And so the pain grows, not because of aging, but because of avoidance. Zen monks sit with their grief. They breathe through it. They don't rush it. And because of that, it passes. And when it passes, what remains is clarity. Could your healing begin the moment you stop pretending you're fine? I remember a time in my own life when I was exhausted, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I was teaching, helping others, smiling on the outside, but inside I felt hollow. One night I sat alone in silence. No music, no journal, just breathe. And without warning, tears came. Not from sadness, but from truth. From years of caring more than I needed to. And after 30 minutes, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Lightness. Energy doesn't lie. And what you resist persists. But what you welcome, even with trembling hands, begins to dissolve. When you create space for emotion to rise, your frequency shifts. And that shift, that's when the body begins to change. That's when pain begins to loosen its grip. So tonight, ask yourself, what emotion have I been carrying for too long? Write it down. Whisper it aloud. Share it with someone safe. Or simply sit with it, like a monk would. Let it breathe. Let it speak. Let it go. Because healing isn't always about doing something new. Sometimes it's about finally letting go of what you were never meant to carry. And once you do that, you create space for something new to enter. And that something is often what we explore next. The power of the present moment. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but the sacred place where healing truly lives. Let's keep going. Secret 4. Present moment awareness. The place where pain begins to disappear. What if the peace you're searching for has been here all along, quietly waiting in this moment? Most people spend their lives racing toward relief. The next doctor's visit, the next therapy, the next holiday retirement plan, or someday when things finally calm down. But what if you've been running past the one place where healing is already available? This breath, this moment, this now. How much of your suffering comes from time travel, not time itself? Think about how often your mind drifts into regrets from the past or fears about the future. You relive that thing you said in 1993. You worry about the appointment next week. You replay mistakes, dread outcomes, fantasize about escapes. Meanwhile, the only place where your body lives, the present, is being abandoned. And your body feels that abandonment. It tightens, it stiffens, it prepares for war, even when no threat is present. No wonder you feel exhausted. Could your chronic pain be made worse by your absence from the moment? There's a Zen teaching that says, the mind that wanders is the mind that suffers. When we mentally leave the present, our nervous system is pulled in opposite directions. We aren't aligned. And when the mind and body are out of sync, it creates stress, which becomes inflammation, which becomes tension, which becomes pain. The monks don't live pain-free because they've escaped suffering. They live pain-free because they refuse to live anywhere but here. What if stillness is the medicine your nervous system has been craving for decades? We are conditioned to believe that doing more is the answer. Try harder, push through, stay busy. But Zen monks reveal something radical. Stillness is not a luxury. It's survival. It's spiritual hygiene. It's the moment when your inner world finally stops fighting and begins to breathe. They sit not because they have time, but because they understand that time spent in presence is what stretches life inward. Have you ever actually been present with yourself without needing to improve anything? Not trying to fix your posture, not forcing your thoughts to be quiet, just being with you as you are right now. When I first tried this, I was shocked by what I felt. The weight of years on my shoulders, the subtle ache in my heart, the tightness in my jaw I never noticed. But underneath it all, there was something gentle, a kind of peace that didn't need explanation. It was like the body saying, "Thank you. Finally, you're here." Sometimes the most profound healing isn't what changes in your body, but what returns to your awareness. There's something deeply human that awakens when we stop rushing, a remembering, a homecoming, not to the person we used to be, but to the self we've always been beneath the noise. That quiet self has never needed to be fixed. It has only ever wanted to be felt, to be seen, to be heard without distraction, without delay. Could the act of simply being here reverse what decades of rushing have created? You won't know until you try. But ask yourself honestly, how many moments in your day do you experience fully? Washing dishes while thinking about bills, driving while arguing with someone in your head, eating while scrolling. You're there, but not really there. And the body feels that. It holds that split attention is like weight. But when your awareness returns, so does your balance. What if presence is the most loving act you can offer your aging body? Not a supplement, not a new device, but your undivided attention, your willingness to just be with it, to sit beside the ache, to witness the breath, to slow down and say, "This moment matters." Because it does, because it's the only one that's real. Even monks have minds that wander, but they gently come back, and that's what makes them free. They don't force their thoughts into silence. They don't punish distractions. They return again and again, like coming home. And every time they return, their body softens a little more, their heart opens a little wider. That's not magic. That's mindfulness in motion. Try this. Take 1 minute today, just one, and do nothing but breathe. No goal, no fixing. Just be aware of the breath entering and leaving your body. Let this breath be enough, because when you show up for the now, you're telling your body, you're safe. We're not in the past. We're not in fear. We are here. So ask yourself this: what have I missed while waiting for life to start? The answer might hurt, but it's also healing. Because once you realize that your healing doesn't require a future moment, that it's available now, you reclaim something sacred. You reclaim your life. And now that you've returned to the present, it's time to ask a deeper question. Why stay alive? What makes you wake up tomorrow? What is your why? Because the body responds to breath, but it awakens fully only in the light of purpose. Let's keep going. Secret 5. The healing power of purpose. Why your body needs a reason to stay alive. What if your body isn't tired from aging, but from forgetting why it still matters? So many people spend their later years feeling invisible. You retire, the house gets quieter, people stop calling. You walk into rooms and feel more like a shadow than a presence. But it's not the silence that hurts most. It's the feeling that no one needs you anymore. And when the heart loses its sense of purpose, the body starts shutting down too. Could the real cause of your decline be disconnection from meaning? We assume disease comes from genetics or diet or bad luck. But what if a deeper sickness begins the moment we stop waking up with something to give, someone to love, or a reason to create? Zen monks understand this well. They don't retire at 65. They don't slow down because the calendar says so. They continue teaching, gardening, cooking, chanting, and mentoring because they believe that service is nourishment. Purpose is their medicine. And that's why many live well into their 90s with glowing faces and strong spirits. Have you ever noticed how alive you feel when someone needs you? Think about the last time someone called just to ask for your help, or the way your body feels when a child hugs you. Suddenly there's energy. Suddenly there's clarity. Not because your illness disappeared, but because your soul was reminded that you still belong. And belonging for the human heart is as necessary as breath. What if healing isn't just about slowing down, but waking something up inside of you? We often think rest is the only path to recovery, but too much rest without meaning becomes stagnation. Purpose moves the blood. It wakes up the mind. It whispers to your cells, we still have something to do here. I once met a retired teacher who fell into depression after leaving the classroom. Her body began to deteriorate quickly until she started volunteering once a week at a community center, reading stories to children. Within months, her posture changed. Her voice returned. Her hands, once shaky, became steady as she turned each page. "I feel useful again," she said, and that was all her body needed to remember how to stay alive. Could your illness be asking, why do you want to heal? This is a hard question, but a necessary one. It's easy to want to feel better, but healing takes energy, and energy flows where there is a reason. The monks know this. They rise early not because it's required, but because their life is a prayer. Their body is a tool, their breath a gift. When you have a reason to rise, the body begins to respond. It listens, it partners with you. Even science now shows that purpose can extend life. In one long-term study, adults with a strong sense of life purpose were significantly less likely to develop Alzheimer's, heart disease, or depression. Another showed that having meaning in life was a stronger predictor of longevity than even regular exercise. But Zen doesn't need data to prove what it already knows. A life without meaning becomes hollow, and a hollow spirit weighs down the body. What if your purpose doesn't have to be grand to be sacred? So many people wait for a calling that sounds loud or impressive. But purpose doesn't need to make headlines. It can be quiet, gentle, small, like growing tomatoes on your balcony, sending a handwritten note to a friend, telling your grandson stories from your childhood, smiling at the mail carrier. These are not trivial things. They are soul work, and soul work keeps you alive. Could it be that your deepest healing begins the moment you choose to matter again? Not for status, not for recognition, but because you remember that your breath is precious, your voice valuable, your existence still a thread in the great tapestry of life. Purpose doesn't have to change the world. It only has to change the way you feel when you open your eyes each morning. Try this. Write down one small thing that gives you joy and do it with your whole heart, not for results, not to check a box, but to remind yourself that you are still creating, still loving, still alive. The body hears this, it responds to this, and slowly your energy begins to shift from merely surviving to participating. So ask yourself gently, what have I not permitted myself to care about lately? Start there. Let it be imperfect. Let it be awkward. But let it be real. Because the body may need medicine. But what it truly longs for is meaning. And meaning, no matter how small, is where healing begins again. Now that you've reawakened your why, it's time to bring all these truths together. Because there is one final shift that Zen monks live by. It's not about knowledge. It's about how you live it, in the present with grace. Let's bring everything home. You've made it this far, not just through a video, but through a quiet journey back to yourself. And maybe now, something feels different. Not louder, not brighter, just clearer. You're beginning to remember what the monks have always known, that your pain is not a punishment, it's a whisper, that stillness is not emptiness, it's medicine, that presence is not passive, it's power, that purpose is not a task, it's your light, and that your body was never broken. It was only waiting for your return. Healing in the end is not a destination. It's a relationship with your breath, with your awareness, with this moment, and with the quiet courage to say, I matter, I still matter. So as you go forward, ask yourself, not what should I fix today, but how can I honor what's already healing? If this message stirred something in you, please share it. Comment below. What part of your body or your life are you learning to love again? And most of all, take this with you. You don't need to chase the next answer. You only need to sit still long enough to hear the one that's already inside you. You are the medicine. You are the peace. You are already home. Let's walk this path together.